All right, let's get everything set up. See if it comes live. Cool, we're live. Get the mic kind of positioned. All right, back with GPT with me. Last time I went through, um, excuse me, went through. Oh gosh, a little kind of a side tangent. Prior to that, we wrapped up Web Cat. I, not happy with it being just focused on running on a server. It's a bit of a pain. So, at the end of the day, I want to refactor this code to running as an Azure function. I kind of poked around a little bit before, but we'll come back to it. That's kind of why I decided to stop. Let's just do this kind of maybe the first time through. So we got this bit of code here. It's cool. It's nice. It definitely got us the ability to bring through web pages. Maybe something I want to call it. I did do some absolutely slight refactorings here. Playing around with it, I found that it was still bringing back the HTML. It's probably obvious if you're watching the stream after the fact. So what I did was basically run it through Beautiful Soup to actually get the contents, so it comes out just a little bit cleaner. But that was it. I'm very much of the opinion we should probably refactor this to remove the JSON option. Um, it's just a little ugly. But anyway, before we get there, let's copy the code. Let's go here and say, given this code, please help me refactor to an Azure function. Um, you know, there's going to be some other infrastructure I need as I build out the next utility here. Maybe as it's kind of printing stuff on the screen here, it can tell us what's going on there. But at the end of the day, I want to move into being able to pull transcripts from YouTube videos, whether it's mine or other things. I think it's an important vector of information retrieval. One of the things I was reading today was this article that came to my inbox, Mastering Reg, How to Architect an Enterprise Reg System, which is cool. It's kind of scary when you look at all the moving parts, and there's a lot going on. And I've been kind of noodling on what's the smallest kind of cut I can make as a one-man band, a one-person show here into exploring reg. And one of the things that popped out to me was reading this is there's a couple options, especially when we get into there's a lot of stuff here. Maybe we can come back and go through that a little bit more. The idea for full text versus vector searching. So vector's kind of the rage with AI, the focus on AI. Tools like Elasticsearch have always been great at full text searching. And Elasticsearch is, something that also supports vectors. So ideally, I can make a tiny little utility that'll get video transcripts and be able to both kind of insert them into Elasticsearch, vectorize them. I've done a little research. There's a nice sentence transformers, little Hugging Face page for it. It's a Python library, uses a model, seems to do okay. And we can kind of get to this hybrid search where, this was kind of what my gut was telling me until I read this, that, I don't think we can push everything to vectors. There's got to be some middle ground. Pinecone and Weaviate seem interesting, but, Elasticsearch is familiar to me. It's the direction I'm probably going to go. Which is why I thought, hey, I don't really have enough server space to run an Elasticsearch server to do this. All the options that are free they're not great. You can to play around. You're gonna have to spend a few bucks. You can get free Python hosting too, but it's still not great. It might be enough to kind of get it up and try it. But if you want to use these utilities with any kind of rigor in your personal workflow, I'm of the opinion it's worth spending the dollar or two I'm gonna have to spend here to probably run this as a function. And there's a real natural tie-in there. How nice would it be that if from here, I could just go, edit in some web editor, I don't know, StackBlitz comes to mind, and then have it just push directly to the Azure function. Well, I mean, it's already Git-based CI/CD, so really it would just be like open it in an editor, save it to the repo, have it auto-update, maybe some way of monitoring that workflow. and you're done. Maybe some kind of heads up display on the chat. I don't know how that would work because I'm sure this UI is constantly changing, but there's definitely I have opinions, and there's some ways to make my life a little simpler without having to lead this dialogue. Anyway, so that's kind of the motivation for going this direction. Is I'm going to need some more infrastructure. I think that's going to be a real key element moving forward here in this year. This is going to be the year of the RAG, retrieval augmented generation. As I can see, even in my little experiments, like I need to get a little more information in. I need to, pull in extra sources. I want to kind of bring this in, excuse me, have a look at how it all comes together. I'm not able to do that with just a standard chat GPT. I'm going to have some kind of custom data need. Oh yeah, and the other thing I thought that was really interesting from this article, this is an image, is case study of RAG. So you kind of have the cognitive reviewer, which feels like part of the space I'm going into, where it's kind of offloading some of that thinking task and processing to AI. There was an AI tutor, and that's what really caught my eye here. Is this is helping students like from a body of knowledge answer questions, and the doc types, videos, HTML, and PDFs. And it's like I'm looking to work with HTML. We built it. We built Web Cat to do that. And then videos, like I'm thinking about transcripts and how do I build that into a really tiny data pipeline to expose as another GPT to pull that context in. And then I was like, well, PDFs, sure. I've got an idea there, maybe using probably just more API stuff. I don't know if I'd really want to do a data pipeline for PDF work. Definitely certain industries where that's important. I don't think that's something I need to specifically necessarily build out a data pipeline for. But, with the rise of this, we're going to have different storage needs. There's going to be data engineering behind this. There's going to be infra. So DevOps and data, I think, are two areas looking to grow outside of kind of a stronger emphasis on machine learning and some of that stuff. Anyway, let's get back to the code. So, we took the code that it's given us, just driving my development workflow through GPT here, and it's like, hey, here's some things you're going to need to do. So it's like, make sure you got your project structure, and then into that project name, you're going to go create this function name. And here's where I think it's a little outdated. When I was kind of poking at it before, it wasn't giving me an underscore py. Scrapes, then it's like, okay, cool. Oh, okay, so it's trying to give me a little router, it looks like. And then do that. And it tells me how to test locally. I don't really want ping to come through. I don't need it. It was really just an artifact of me showing you how I'd bootstrap this process up on a physical server. Obviously, it's a bit different in function land. So let's tell it. Please remove the ping function and emit all steps again. Okay, so now it's like, hey, I'm just going to summarize what you've asked me to do. More summarize what I'm going to do. So you can start to see, it's building a plan. It's going to set about them. Set up the tools. Okay, and while it's busy doing that, we're going to scroll back up to the steps here. It's telling me to do that. All right, so get branch, we're in our zero function. Okay, so what's going to be the project name? GPT with me. Just call it that. All right, ls. Okay, I'm in the GPT with me as it's asked me to do. And then it's going to want me to create a new command here. I am doing the copy paste. I'm just going to call it scrape. I can't remember what the difference between function and anonymous is. And considering I told it anonymous, we'll go with anonymous. What do we have here? Okay, I'm gonna guess if I cat the function app. Okay, it's got my scrape function at anonymous level. Woohoo. Refactoring the code. So next it's telling me it needs to do some refactoring here. Oh, that's where it did the two thingies, and I was like, hey, I'm not too keen on that, man. Read scrape, and that's in the scrape function, functions.js. I don't have a functions.js. Obviously, there's a little bit of a difference here. Let's see what's in the host, application insights, extension bundles, local settings. Interesting. Okay, so here's my scrape. So let's get rid of the JSON option. Thanks, but can we drop the output formatting and always just return text? All right, so it's gonna it's truncated this a little bit for me. Oh no, maybe not. Let's go get the original user agents. Let's kindly tell it that that's wrong. It hasn't given me the full function code, so I'm going to just ask it to do that. All right, so let's go kind of see what it's given me. It's given me a more simplified version here. Get the URL. I like that. That's a nice tiny little function. That was kind of one of the motivations. Is like, if I want to run these things as functions and think about them as tiny little snippets of code, maybe it's sense to kind of fit it into the thing that we've agreed upon or kind of agree upon in the industry is the place to put that. I have written more than tiny little snippets behind functions before, but that's how it goes. Okay, cool. I think I forgot that it's an Azure function. Maybe not. Let's see. Let's ask it. Is this an what about this? This is the template it gave me. Ha! Okay, cool. So now I'm getting some discrepancies. I'm kind of feeding back what it's seeing. It's like, okay, cool. You're obviously using something newer than I'm familiar with, which is going to happen. We know that. That's kind of where we're trying to build out some of these little utilities to just kind of make our life a little smoother. I can't say I would tell it to go scrape a specific site for this information. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe there's kind of a more generic search. Maybe not prompt it to go search. Great question. Utility versus prompts. I think lots of those are going to be coming. Okay, cool. That looks a lot more like what I have here. Here you can see the insanity of me going into VID. Delete all the lines, paste it in. All right, let's go back in. App, okay, can root, scrape, data URL. Looks right, right? And we'll assume that it is. I'm gonna take this off the screen again. Okay, and how did I test locally again? Yeah, okay, open a command prompt, F func start. Alright, well, it's telling me I did a func start. It looks like it's possibly running. Oh, hold on. What do we got here? Error occurred. Scrape API scrape the root template separator character cannot appear consecutively. Okay, let's go see. All right, let me go show you. So I just took the extra. There was this. This was the situation. And so it had an extra one there. Let's see if it does it again. Well, there we go. Now we have a root. Awesome. Okay, it's even giving me a sample to test with. Let's go over here. Clear. Has no URL root. Okay, I was probably doing something. VI. Oh, can fetch. Oh, good. Okay. Can fetch. Next. Next. Okay. Okay, so it's telling me request dot. Okay, so over here it says, okay, let's just plug this in. Remember, we're driving with ChatGPT. I'm doing as little thinking as possible. I get this error. Oh, no, that's not the error. Beep. Oh, I'm so used to, I get this. Does not have your resolve this issue. URLs on robots. There's an approach reconstructing the base URL. Okay, and since I am lazy, full function code, please. Not making too many considerations for my ability to type or lack thereof. All right, so we're getting some stuff. Things are happening. Happy days. Request a JSON. I don't see the robot stuff. Where's the robot? Excuse me. It was there. File open. Just opening the file in excuse me, VS Code. Projects Web Cat GPT with me. All right, file open. File open. Web Cat. Where's the requirements? Open. All right. So what am I doing? I'm just getting the requirements. Excuse me. Up to date. Got our function here. We don't need the import JSON anymore. I'm just trying to figure out. Okay. So I'm going to go back. I don't like what I'm seeing. Please amend this to include the proper pathing logic for it's not great at code. It does forget things from time to time. Sometimes it's better than other days. I don't know if it's how I'm doing it or what I'm doing, but you know, I guess that's life. Some days are just better than others. All right. So I've done very little, I think, other than maybe take out the slash manually here along the way. At least that's how I remember it. Okay. Let's get out of there. Okay, so it told me before I needed to do something. All right, so now we've got this. Let's go find our thingy here. Let's paste that in. Okay. So I've got basically just gluing a bunch of extensions together at this stage of things. Function start. I probably missed something somewhere along the lines. Okay, it's there. Ah, and it worked. There we go, folks. Look at that. I know that's the example. That's kind of the nice thing about using the example. I probably could come back and get it to trim a little bit of that off. Maybe we'll come ask it to. Okay, cool. Make a trim leading white space. I got a bunch above and below the text. This is why Python's quite nice for this kind of work. There are so many utilities out there. I mean, I didn't really think when I set off on this little journey that I'd be able to build a tiny little bit of backing logic. I mean, this with a function, it's about 50 lines, which is just really cool at the end of the day. I mean, we stripped out all the weird JSON-y stuff that was just kind of an experiment. This is getting closer. I mean, obviously we want API keys and other fun things. Excuse me. At the end of the day, it's an experiment and integrating into my workflow. And right now, my workflow consists of finding ways of building tools to help me better explore concepts. Because there's lots of questions I have around everything. How do you build a set of tools across the SDLC? How do you get people trained up? How do you get people experimenting? Where should they be experimenting? What types of projects are out there? Kind of just lots of thoughts to think through, and I really find this to be a useful way to get there. All right. I'm not sure if it resets or not. I'm going to say it did. I just reran it again. You'll see that is a lot better than what we were getting there. We'll take that as progress, as a step forward. I don't want to get too hung up on things. So cool. You know, that's really cool looking. It's converted it over. It allows me to really succinctly run this as a little tiny method. Helps me alleviate the concern as a function, helps me alleviate the concern I had about running it on my server. Helps me kind of gear towards the next phase of things, where we're going. So while we're here, get status. Oh, that's the wrong one. I want here. We'll just shut that down. Get status. All right, our app. Service. GPT with me. Git commit refactor to being a Azure function. I mean, that's pretty incredible. I was able to do that quickly. Give me the detail, get things up and running. Let's see here. My interest is in probably just confirming that. All right. I was worried about that. Yeah, that hasn't gone yet. Let me bring that over. So I didn't commit that. Removed old self-hosted code. Good. Push print. Git command's not good enough picking up my typos. That might be a nice little interesting tangent someday. You know, it doesn't have to be exact anymore. It can be close. Okay, so we got GPT with me. Got our function here. Got our requirements, I believe. Yeah, looking good. Okay, that's all there. Let's go see here. We want to make an Azure function. I want to create a new one. My main subscription, my resource group, GPT with me from the one I made before, Web Cat GPT. It's going to be code. It's going to be Python. I am on closer to the west. Consumptionless. Yep. Okay. Storage account. Sure, we'll just go with the defaults. Networking, public access. Sure. No, I don't want to run application insights. Maybe it was more of a production deployment. Basic. So I could do continuous deployment. I'm probably going to set this up wrong. Embarrassingly, it's been, oh gosh, 5 years since I've touched an Azure function, and I don't remember this being an option back then. They were rather newish. A lot of event-driven stuff. It was fun. So you can see I've got my account here. Oh, cool. On my organization, me, Web Cat. Lots of little weird main experiments. I will put it on the Azure function branch. So that's kind of nice, I think. File with the GitHub action workflow preview file. Okay. So we're going to copy this. We're going to come back over here and say, I have this, what's it called? It was the GitHub workflow. I need to ensure it lines up with my repo structure, where I have a folder GPT with contains the function. So just doing some sense checking, trying to see if I can get GPT to help me. Oh, well, there we go. It's telling me what thing to adjust. Path. If this works, I'll be thoroughly impressed. I mean, this is probably 20 minutes of me reading and kind of troubleshooting probably 2 or 3 times, trying to get this right. That'd be nice. Let's see. I'm just going to go check the terminal. All right, we're going to copy that code. Oh, okay. I can only preview it. File path. Okay, well, I guess I'll create it. I'm not expecting it to work. I mean, it's going to have the wrong template. You lives in your repository, GitHub workflows. All right, it's trying to do its deployment thing. This is probably also a little bit more accessible, trying to set up an Azure account than expecting people to run private servers and maintain things at that level. And like I was saying earlier, it'd be really cool if it was kind of just linked into the chat, you know, or just some kind of GPT configuration where I can say, oh yeah, cool, go use like this Azure function. Just like I'm saying, you know, hey, here's an endpoint. It could just be as simple as auto integrating and editing directly from my GPT. Going to streamline the developer experience. Okay, go to resource. I'm sure there's many things I need to care about. In your preferred environment. Deployment center. Okay. All right, it's giving me some instructions here. Git fetch, rebase. cd.github. All right, let's just see if we can cd up, cd.github. Oh, there we go. CD workflows. Cat main. Now let's see Azure. That looks more like what I got in my. Oh. Updated workflow pathing. And there's the website. task. Automations, there's logs. I don't really have any log streams. Okay, well, we've tried. I'm probably going to stop things here, probably do a little debugging. But, you know, we've got through, we got it to refactor, we could test it locally. Just not too sure where this activity log. There's got to be, you know, something I'm missing somewhere to see what's going on. Oh, experiencing portal issues. Okay, so is this accessible? Oh, function app is up and running, so that's good. Could not be found. Okay, well, I got some debugging to do. I'm likely to stop for lunch to do that while I chew in a sandwich. Anyway, if I find anything interesting, I might fire it back up. Otherwise, I hope you found that useful. Thanks.